There we go. There. All right. So down there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Running about, 2 minutes behind, which, listen, I'll take it. I'm usually quite on time. Let everybody start rolling in. Get myself all ready. Thank you for the reminder, Jennifer, that I was late. I get a, you're late. Nothing like a good, you're late. So brush up your morning. You'll see why in about 2 seconds while I'm late, because I went extra today. You wait, you see. Good morning. Good morning. Here's our romper room moment. Good morning, Billy, Miriam, Tony, Patricia, Billy, Joe, Kim, Maria, Jill, Pat, Michelle, Delane, Chelsea, Patty, Linda, Rachel, Cheyenne, Donna, Jennifer. Good morning, my fabulous people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so I'll tell you why I'm late. Let me get the camera all set up, and we'll go up to, I just woke up. Larissa, if you look at me, you wouldn't know that I just woke up not too long ago. So let's get this party started. I've got a lot to talk about today in a short amount of time, because when you see me, I'm looking fancy today. So let's do this, shall we? Nothing like a little room. Going up, first floor. Don't mind the whole mess of my shop right now. I do apologize. Are we ready? Let's see if this cuts me off. Hold on. Because we don't want it to cut me off. Good morning. So I'm all fancy this morning, not because I'm usually not fancy. I did the hair this morning, had to get the makeup done, because as soon as we leave this Sass today, I am heading on a 2-hour drive to a friend of mine whose son just became a police officer. He has served our country in the Army, and now he has become a police officer to serve our local community. So I am super excited and very proud of him. So I had to get all fancy this morning. I went the extra mile. It was extra. So, good morning. Thank you, Delane. I feel pretty this morning, I have to tell you. So, we have a lot to talk about. Grab your coffee, grab your paper. I hope you're all set and ready. I'm going to first talk to you about this morning, and like I said, I'm going to just dive right in. So, as Stan and Amy talked about on Amy's show on Wednesday, you got the view from Stan, what it's like to be at the ISS show from someone who's gone a million trillion years. But I'm going to give you the perspective from a newbie's point of view, all right? Because it was my first time to the ISS, and I have to tell you, it was a bit overwhelming. There was so much to see and so much to take in. I can give you the pros and the cons of it. So from a sublimation point of view, there, like Stan said, there wasn't much there for us. But I did get to see all the shirt manufacturers. I did get to talk to some really cool and amazing people. I got to meet a lot of people from our own group, which was really cool. But I got to actually touch and feel different new products when it came to my apparel line. As a plus size girl, it's really hard to find clothing that fits. And I talked to the representatives at the LAT booth, and I found a whole curvy line. And so I came home, ordered it, saved it. They have tank tops that are perfect for me and t-shirts that are perfect for me, that are still fun and girly, but aren't boxy and, but can fit this round fluffiness. So with that said, I got to take that out of it. which was nice. That was a really nice part of it. I got to meet a lot of cool vendors. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I did get while I was there. And like Stan said, there wasn't as much swag. But when I went in with absolutely no expectations. So I didn't know what swag I was actually going to get. So, the last time, so second one. So this we got from 613. This is a, don't mind the crinkleness, but this is a screen print company. You can get Howard installs or Transfer Express, whatever that is. But this came from 613, which was really cool. He pressed it live for us right there. So that was cool. I got to meet them. These came from Adams. If you know the brand of the hat, this is the Adams brand hat. So they were giving away hats. I have to say, I love this worn look on this one, but these were all Adams hats. So we got, I mean, really, these were cool. So, and the irony is it says Adams, and usually, you know, I'm Nikki Adamkowitz. So, Stalls was giving away lots of vinyl type keychains. I got stickers, cool little bags. So I got a lot of little different swag. I got to meet the people from All Made. I mean, you've heard Todd's talked about them. All Made is a recycled shirt company. They make it out of recycled bottles and whatnot. So this is their white shirt. It's not stark white, again, because it's a recyclable one, but you're supposed to be able to sub on this. So that's going to be my next project, is to sub on this shirt. So you're going to see little imperfections on the shirt. Why? Because it is a recycled shirt. It's super soft though. I gotta tell you, it's super soft. So I'm anxious to see this. I'm anxious to see what the pricing is on this. It probably might be up there with Vapor and the cost and whatnot. But when you're doing sublimation, you factor that all in. So you have that. So my view from the couch, quote unquote, is it was a great first time experience. I would do it all over again. But go in with different eyes, because again, it wasn't made really for sublimation. So go in trying to learn about vinyl. I mean, I got to talk to the vinyl rep. He owns the company. He was there and talked about the new sublimation vinyl they've got coming out for Caesar, which is huge. That comes out next month. I got to talk with the people at Stalls about their vinyl. I got to talk to so many people. It was just very overwhelming, but it was amazing. And really, it's a day's worth. I mean, if you go for more than one day, it wasn't that big. The one I'm anxious to go to is they have one in Dallas. Amy posted about it in the Submore business page. And it's a Printing United, I think is what it's called. That thing is massive. That's probably going to take me a week to get through. And if anybody who saw pictures of my leg was swollen from day one. So this should be interesting. But it's coming in this October. It's in Dallas. So I am headed to that one because that one has a lot of sublimation people. I mean, you'll see a lot of the major vendors there. You'll see a lot of cool things, like Best Sub's going to be there, which is really cool. So that one I'm anxious to go to because that's more in my wheelhouse. This one was more for apparel and embroidery, screen printing, that kind of thing. I'm not saying don't go. I'm totally saying go, especially if it's your first time. If you go any more than that, it's really just a social experience and a social call. So there you go. So there's my view from the Sass. Somebody said so. Huh. I'm just reading. I'm so sorry. I do love the idea of a recycled shirt. As for the issues that were with them, I don't know. It's a new company, so I'm not really entirely sure. I can't speak for them or speak for the issues that may have come. So there's my disclaimer. Dallas is way more fun than AC any day. Oh, I hope so. Here, I'm going to move this just because then I can see y'all talking to me. Yes, I used just this Yankee just used the term y'all. You're welcome. All right. So, in today's Sass, we're going to talk about the 15 by 15, which I should probably turn on. And I forgot. So, my 15 by 15 is going to warm up. A lot of people are having issues piecing and pressing larger items bigger than your press. I'm going to show you a trick that I use, and I forgot that I used it because I'm just so used to doing it. So, and that is finding my handy dandy pencil. Hold on one second. Because a pencil is key in this conversation. I probably left it right here. This becomes your best friend. Now remember back in the last Sass or two, I talked about how to find the middle of your page and to know what the top and the bottom is of your page no matter what you're printing. And just as a recap, so I'm going to be printing this lovely piece of information on a cooling towel from Stan. I did find my cooling towels, by the way. So if you're trying to find the middle, and how I do it is I line it up, give a quick little pinch, and then what I do, let's say this had a top and a bottom, all right? I'm literally taking right here and I'm making a mark, okay? I make the mark so that it, one, reminds me of where the center is, and two, where the top is. This way, when I'm doing a lot of different projects, this just lets me know, because why? We get going and we forget. We get just in the rigmarole. So if you take the few seconds of time, especially if you're new, and I'm phasing out of new, so even, doesn't matter who you are, tired eyes and a tired mind and a tired body can sometimes make things a little bit confusing. So this is just a tip that I use, especially when I'm doing large runs, when I'm doing anything in particular that I really need to keep going. That's key in my world. Okay, so that's one of my tricks for that. I don't really understand how to print and piecing on a sawgrass. All right, Sam, here we go. So you take your image in your sawgrass, whatever design program you use. So for me, I'm going to use Corel as an example. They have a knife tool, all right? We're going to pretend that this is in my computer. You literally take your knife tool and you cut it the size that you're able to print. So for instance, a burr cloth for a sawgrass that prints, if you don't have 8.5 by 14, you've got 8.5 by 11, get yourself the 8.5 by 14. The reason being is you're going to split it into threes. Okay, you're going to split that design into 3 separate pieces. You're going to then print each piece. Okay, once you've printed each piece, you're going to reassemble it. Okay, and I'm going to show you that too, because I've started prepping. So then what you're going to do is you're going to and then you're going to tape it. You never tape on your seam. Okay, because it adds another layer which can leave tape marks. Okay, so you notice this is open for me. So I tape in the white. Okay, so I tape, that's why I leave that extra space. All right, and then you tape it so that it makes your burr cloth again, or your bib, or whatever it is you're piecing. Because we're going to piece today. So even with my 13 by 19, I still have to piece a cooling towel if I want to do full bleed, because it's 36 by 15 or 14. So this is, and these are, they're 20, a little over 20. So you want to piece them. So if you notice, I had to piece mine in half. That's where I cut it in my design program. Okay. That's what makes things a little bit easier. You just cut it in your program and then you print from there and then you reassemble it so that it lays out. I hope that answers the question. Okay. Now, for me, because I do have a 13 by 19, I am going to go to the expense of getting the 13 by 21 paper just for my burr cloths. Why? I'm tired of cutting. So we're going to press it. I want to show you, and I wanted to show you, and I did this last night because as we know, I screw up everything on the Sass, but I wanted you to see how I pressed a full image. So there's a full image. I pieced this together and I pressed it on my 15 by 15. The reason being is I needed to show you, okay? And using the trick, the nice part about this design is you literally are going to cut it right on a line. Some things aren't as forgiving as like this one where it's not as easy, but cutting and piecing and having the right tools, you can absolutely do this, okay? So if you notice, not too shabby, right? Not too bad. And it's perfect, okay? And that's how you can get a cut every time. Key things that you need when piecing is go get this little handy dandy thing. I got it from Michael's. I bet you all the other places have them, but I love this tool, okay? This is my favorite tool. I have an old-fashioned teacher one, but I could not get as perfect as a cut as I could with this one because I could see where I was cutting. This has been a huge lifesaver for me, and that's how I cut this one, so it was perfect every time. So having the right tools helps. Oops, let's put that back on there. I'll use that a little bit. 10 by 20 burnt cloth. Okay. Yes. Oh, the cooling towels are they really? Did I do my design too big, Jennifer? I might have. All right, she's right. I'm wrong. The bleed should be 12 and a half, by the way. Whatever. Jennifer would know because you know what? She touches these all the time. So here's the cooling towels. These, you don't have to do full bleed. We are going to do full bleed just because we're working on piecing today. And we're working on pressing with a smaller 15 by 15. Normally, I'd be pressing these on Big Daddy. Okay, Big Daddy would be warmed up and ready to go. And I would do these in probably 2 pressings because my Big Daddy is 16 by 20. So I would be able to do these in 2 pressings instead of the 3 that I'm going to have to do. It's a tricky little process, but once you master it, and the best way to master piecing and pressing oversized images is felt. Just go get felt. Go get poly fabric. Go get poly fabric from your local store and literally cut yourself something that is bigger than your press and then practice. Practice how to line it up. Practice the techniques I'm going to show you. And then this way, before you start going and pressing this, you have now reached the method of the madness. Okay, so we're going to press that today too. Morning, Todd. Poor Jen. You are so welcome. Okay, so we've pressed that. I'm going to get the camera ready because it's kind of vital and important that you see what I'm doing. I am going to get so that the light is, it's very dark here in New York. I had to actually put on a different light so you could kind of see me because it's a very, very, very cloudy day today. It might be a little bit warm, but, so we're going to press that. I do want to show you some interesting things that I found at Five and Below because you know what? I see it all over our group is the different things that you can get from the dollar store and Five Below. No, I will never do a mug from any one of those because it's not cost effective by any stretch of the imagination. So I will show you what I found. Found 2 items, only 2, I have to tell you. I found 2 items that you can get at the good old Five Below. Hold on one second. All right. So I don't know exactly what kind of fabric it is because there is no label to tell me what kind of fabric it is. So here it is. This is what I found, and I thought, great for when they're doing egg hunting. Yes, you could totally do vinyl on these. These are $3 at Five and Below. But because, you know, I am who I am, I needed to check and see, could I possibly vinyl or sub on it? The answer is yes. So this, though, was supposed to be more of a pinkish color, but it came out purplish, which is fine. It kind of matches the nose. So do I know for 100% fact what kind of fabric this is? No, I have no idea. I'm not going to wash it either. Why? Because it's meant to get eggs, to go egg hunting. You don't put these in the press, they will melt, so you're literally only going to put on the bottom. So if you're looking for a really cute, inexpensive idea, this would be a really cute idea. It's fun for Easter. Like I said, Five Below has these. This is a really cool, cute little egg basket idea for this. I mean, it really did come out cute. Like I said, I haven't washed it. I don't plan on washing it ever. I think I would spot clean it because this nose is only sewn on, and that's not something I would want to wash anyway. But for $3, then the next thing I got. You're going to ask me how in the world I got this in my press. That is right. I shoved this bad boy in my press, and I'm going to show you how I did that because I totally subbed on the top. I was like, well, Put some butcher paper on it and pray. This is polyester. It has polyester foam on the inside. It did not damage the foam on the inside. This was $5 at Five and Below. It's a cute little stool. They have them in gray and pink. And I thought, all right, I'm going to test this out. And if it goes wrong, nobody knows. But if it goes right, you'll get to know. So this is one of the cutest little stools that you can do. And you're going to ask me how I shoved it in my 15 by 15. I shall show you. Let's move the camera over. Oops. All right. So, of course, you can't really close your press. I mean, it doesn't fit. So, what I did was I taped my image on the top here. Okay. Taped it on the top, put my butcher paper on it. I'm only using this as an example. Yes, this is on. So, it has these two pieces. I literally went like this and pulled this down just a little bit and used my stopwatch, and that was it. That is how I subbed this complete top of this wonderful little piece of information. I mean, how cute is that? And it's really cute, and it's fuzzy, and it's soft. But it is a great idea. You could go ahead. I mean, you're going to buy them for $5. You could totally easily get, 10 to 15 for this thing. At least make your money back on it. It is a timeout stool. It says right there. Even a princess needs a timeout stool. Silly, silly Debbie. So there you go. Cool, right? I thought it was really cool. Okay. So, let's move that back. See how we're doing so far. All right. So, as you know, this is where I've pieced everything. Okay, so it's all pieced. It's all ready to go. It's awesome, right? Okay. So, a few things you have to do. Always prep. Now, with this, you always have to prep your stuff. Okay? It's a trick of the trade kind of thing. You got to sit here, get all your fibers out. Always lint roll your fabrics. Some people even lint roll their substrates. Their hard substrates. I don't personally. But I at least always... Now, I go in one direction, flip this bad boy back over around, and now I go in the other. If you notice, it's nice and flat now. But what I've done is when you go against the nap of the fabric, you're going to pull all those little blue fabrics out. I like this because it's velvet on velvet, and it tends to pull out a lot more of the blue pieces than the sticky lint roller I have found. All right. So... line her up. Now, yes, you can totally and completely use your Pro Spray. Here's the thing though. Because you're going to need to double press this, I literally tape it. To me, it's worth it to sit here and use a couple pieces of tape because I don't want this thing to budge when I go to move it. Okay? So... and there's a key, and I'm going to show you a couple different things. So let me get this all taped. Absolutely love this one. Where did you find the lint? You can find them at Walmart. Somebody asked me where you can find the lint roller, or the velvet one. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them on Walmart. It's made by 3M. Okay, so here's something you need to know. When pressing this, don't press where the line is, okay? Because it's causing attention to it. So you want this to bleed into this. The best way to do it is move your press when you do it beyond where that is so it gets a nice solid press, okay? If you press on your press line, you're like I said, you're causing more attention to this. No, this is a burp cloth. So you're causing more attention to this. These are a little over 10 inches wide by 20 inches long. So even people with 13 by 19s have to double print or piece together unless they buy the 13 by 21, which I am doing later. Okay. So we're going to bring this over to the press and I'm going to show you the trick. I need to get my protective paper. Whoa. Because you need protective paper, and this needs to get down as far as I can get it down, because this is going to be key right here. Okay, so I've lint rolled, I've protected that. I'm going to get my butcher paper. All right, remember, yes, I have a Teflon sheet down here. Okay, it's just to protect this foam. All right, I always put this on here. The only time I don't use this is when I have to do sequin patches, when I have to do vinyl. That's when I use this, okay? But otherwise, it's always butcher paper. All right, butcher paper, parchment paper, as long as it has no coating on it. And the reason being is you want it to absorb the ink, okay? Anything that off-gases. And if you don't think it off-gases, I have news for you. It does. Give me 1 second. So I was working on my my burp cloth last night, and I have to tell you, this is what off-gassing looks like, okay? This is what, when that extra bleed line looks like. And you want it to absorb so that it takes away all of that issue. Okay. So now, we have prepped and prepped and prepped. All right. So, my press here is 15 by 15. All right, here's the thing. Remember, go beyond the line. So when this press closes, it's actually going to come down here when you're double pressing. Okay, so you have that. I'm going to see if I can't get a little more light in here just so you guys can see it just a touch better. Again, it's dark in here in New York, so I do apologize. Let's see if I can give me 1 second. It's very important that you see this. Okay, so what you're going to do is hit along here. This tool becomes your best friend, okay? So, now, I literally will have my top butcher paper, all right, just at the edge of my press. And here's the reason. I need to be able to draw a line across here. All right, so I just don't want it to be drawing. I don't want to be drawing on this paper. I want to be drawing on this paper. Okay, so I know it's all set and ready. Move that back just a little. All right, lock it down. While it's cooking and baking and shaking, it's hard to tell where this line started and where it stops. Watch. Draw yourself a line, okay? This line is not going to hurt your image at all. But what it's going to do is when you flip it around, you know where to set this on here, okay? Because it doesn't always leave a crease, and the creases can be wrong, okay? So if you want a good press, you know, and a clean press, you want to draw a line. Do this with your bibs. Do this with anything that's larger than your press. Draw a line. It lets you know where it is, okay? So that is one trick. No, you cannot use newsprint. Yes, you could do the 13 by 21, and you can get them from major vendors, 2 major vendors. JPP and Condi both have the 21-inch paper. Newsprint, no, you can't use newsprint because it'll get on your item. So it needs to be blank white paper, or parchment paper, or butcher paper, which you can actually buy butcher paper on Amazon. All right. Now, yes, you can see the discoloration in the paper. That's fine. Okay, so now what you want to do, pull this off. All right. Put a new piece of paper down. Okay. Now, you see that line? That line was handy. So now what you want to do is get this. Remember, because I taped the living heck out of it. I want my press to just barely sit on that line. And I mean just barely. So that line was a guide to where I lined it up with the edge of my press. And you want that line just on the inside. Not too much, but just barely on the inside, like a hair. And the reason being is now it's going to match up. Okay, so just on the inside, it's all there. And while that's going, I usually sit here and do this, so that you can see what I have pressed. This is a really forgiving design. The one that I did last night, not so forgiving. That's why I try to do, when I do my burp cloth designs, I either do them on the end for everybody, or I try to make it so that it's a little more forgiving in the center, because again, that's where you're going to piece it half the time. But isn't that gorgeous? I amaze myself sometimes. So far, are we good? I go by the color of the paper and move it to the side. Yes, Terry, you totally do that once you become seasoned at this. But honestly, even I still use the line method. Okay, so we're going to bring this over here. I even use the line method still. And the line method has just proven time and time again. I mean, listen, we're tired when we're doing these. Okay? And I could show you why you just barely want to touch. You want to kiss that line, because I must have gone over just a little. Okay, and I'll show you why you have to have the edge of the press literally sitting on that line. Okay, and I want to show you that. And this is why we do it together. If you go too far in, that's what happens. So that line, I literally should have moved it just out just a little bit so that that press was literally sitting right on that line. Is it horrible? Well, no, but I notice it. So it is, you don't notice it in the ivory part of it, okay? You notice it in the flower. So when you're lining up that press, you can't always go by the color of the paper either, because it shifts. That's why that line helps a lot. And then what you do is literally put the press right back on that same line, so you don't end up with this beautiful piece of information, okay? So not a horrible press. We're going to try it again on the cooling towel, and I'll show you how that goes. Let me just clean up this mess. So far, are we good? Not always. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but that doesn't mean anything. All right. So now we're going to get into our image here. Okay. This is for the cooling towel. So far, are we good? Do you have your do you have your tape and a dispenser? Yes. There you go. Yep. Makes life easier. All right. So, because this is a little bit bigger, I need to trim it. I need to trim it along the edge. And because I did do my design a lot bigger than it was supposed to be, because I'm a goofball, you know, goofball things happen. All right. To those who are messaging me right now, and it's other than Billy, I am not currently answering anybody, just as a kind of disclaimer. The only one I will answer during a live right now is Billy. Billy's my right-hand man. Okay. So, I get this all lined up. Whoops. Snap it down. Go across. Nice clean edge. Okay? Because this design is going to require 3 parts. I don't know how I did that wrong. That's funny. How is that weird? I apparently don't know how to draw a straight line. So weird. Remember, my design was a little bit bigger because I thought it was 14. Whatever. Jen called me out on it. Isn't a day. Unless I get called out for something. Alright. Again, line this up. Okay. So that you can sit here and piece it. Now, with that said, I totally messed that one up. Give me 1 second. Normally, it's harder to do it because this is only a 12-inch. This is only a 12-inch cutter. So, I'm on the hunt for a little bit bigger of a one. I haven't quite found one yet. Okay? So give me 2 seconds to get this all fancied up here. All right. Yes, you could do more than 1 pages at a time, which I'm going to do for the sake of the TV show or podcast or whatever you want to call this. Okay. God, I am just totally bombing it today. Just because this image is way too big for my cutter. Yeah, they probably do. They 100% probably do. I just like this one. I just haven't found one that I don't. This was the first one I found, Sam, to be completely honest with you. There. Okay. So far, that's where we're at. All right. You get this all so that you're going to paper piece it up. Now, again, this is probably not a design I would put on a cooling towel, but, you know, for the sake of what we're doing, it's working for me because it is an image either way, and we're going to press, press, press. Put this away. All right. What you want to do first is, because you have to, tape it, okay? You want to tape this together and line up your image. All right. This is what they call seamless paper. Okay. That's what this is. It's called seamless paper. Okay. And I tape up here on the edge. Now, because this image is a little bit on the bigger side, because I totally screwed up on my sizing, that's a me problem, not a you problem. I will tape down here. I don't normally tape on my image, just because I just don't. It adds, remember, it adds that layer. So this is this piece 1. Oops. Okay. Slide it down. Add piece 3. Because this is going to take 3. If you're doing it in a smaller printer, be prepared. It's going to take you a little bit more. Okay. So get her all lined up. And this is, listen, if you've got a smaller printer, you have to be willing to put the time in if you want bigger items, okay? So, and along the way, when you want those bigger items, note to self, for every sale, I would consider putting a few pennies away so you can get that bigger printer so that you can do bigger things with, so you don't have to piece as much. Okay, that's what I did. I saved a little bit from each sale so that I could afford to buy my Sawgrass 800. It was well worth it for me. It was well worth my aggravation. So, you know, that's why I did what I did. And I mean, I could be wrong, but there you go. While I'm sitting here working on all this and you guys are watching me, I'm going to fold it real quick. I'm going to get it out of my way so I can let roll my cooling towel, because that has to happen. These things are huge. Now, there is a right and a wrong way. All right, there's a seam. This should be face up. That should be face down. All right, this is where you're going to want to use your sticky lint roller, because this is one of those fabrics you want to. The ones that are velvet, I like I said, I like my velvet one first. That's probably my, I'm afraid to piece widthwise. Well then for these, Sam, honestly, I probably would never do these full bleed. This is just my opinion. I might do what they call spot printing, which means spot printing here, 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 all over the place. This way it's a little more forgiving. The only problem with spot printing is if you have to do a bunch of them. If you're doing one of, then spot printing is a cool idea. But, and you just have to put on there, patterns may vary when you're doing it. Especially if somebody sees it and says, oh, I like that. You can go, well, the pattern varies. That kind of saves you in a bind, especially if you decide to put, let's say you put an image here for one, but it might be slightly down here for the other. All right. Just because, you know, that's how it goes. So that would be my thing. I don't think these cooling towels I would do full bleed. I mean, they're massive. Ain't gonna lie. Okay, so we are completely lint rolled. Put him away. Okay. Where's the best? Now, we're going to talk about paper for 2 seconds before I get going. All right. Only because this seems to be a common problem in our group lately. All right. So, I personally do not use the Textar paper. Okay, I use an inexpensive paper. I say inexpensive. I use the vendor brand paper. Okay, so here's the thing. When you have your paper, there is a bright white side. For Textar, they have the writing on the back, so it's pretty much foolproof. For me, I use this. Okay, you can tell there is a kind of a creamy white and a bright white. Okay, you always want to print on the bright white. A lot of people this past week have printed their image on the wrong side of the paper. So if your printer feeds from the bottom tray, remember it has to come up and around. So you need to have your bright white facing down. Okay, like that. So you got to have the duller, creamier type white image face up, bright white face down, because when it comes into your printer, it's got to come up and roll and print. Okay, this is the side you want your ink on. If you have your ink on the wrong side, you're going to get a really crappy image, I got to tell you. And we've troubleshooted a lot of these this past week. All right, if you have a bypass tray, for those with bypass trays, your bright white faces you because it comes down this way. All right, so bypass tray people have it facing outward in their bypass tray. Those who have to have a bottom feed, bright white face down. And literally, if you need to, wherever you stack your paper with it face the way it needs to go into your printer. It makes it for a little bit easier, okay? So I also did a tip. Again, your handy dandy pencil. If you need to, just double checking so you know what it is. But make sure before you print anything, and especially if you have it with no writing on the paper, check your paper first before you start crying that it's not printing right. I'm getting modeling. I'm not getting whatever I want. The first question I'm going to say is your paper in the right direction? And then if you tell me, yes, it is, only to come to find out it's not, I'm going to tell you I told you so. Totally fascination with sublimation. Why do you not? It's just more expensive. There's no really rhyme or reason. It's more expensive. That's all it is. And this was a less expensive option for me. So that was it. I could pick it up locally. It was great. So that's why I went with this paper. I mean, I could get the Textar paper as well. Don't get me wrong. It's a great paper. I'm not going to disagree with that. But this is what I use. Yeah, and check it in natural light. Good tip, Billy. Billy Joe. Actually, I got 2 Billies in the group, so it's Billy Joe and Billy. So that would be why. Okay, this is why you got to make sure it's on the bright white side, or you're going to end up with my friends, who printed it on the wrong side. That was a conversation this week. Oh, yeah. And 5 slates later, she finally got it. Okay, so we're back to this. This is a piecing project. Not only is it pieced, but it's also got to be taped or pressed in pieces. Again, I told you I will not be doing these any other way. See, I did. Can I tell you why I hate fabric? I'm going to tell you why I hate fabric in about 2 seconds. I have a feeling my image is correct. Why is that? Okay. Let me tell you something. I'm going to press it anyway, just for the sake of pressing it, okay? But it's not correct. And here's why. These might not be a totally 100% square, and I should know better. This is why I do an overbleed, okay? I know better. I didn't cut any of this image off, and yet it's not going to be 100% correct. That kind of bothers me. I'm just going to tell you. And I'm not going to reprint it and cut it. So just for the sake of pressing on a 15. That's the only reason why we're doing this, and this is the only reason I'm doing this, is to show you how to press and piece on a 15. All right? This is going to have an overlap. God, this is frustrating me to no end. You have no idea how much this bothers me right now. And I just don't have the opportunity right at the moment to go and do and repress. I'm on a time crunch today, so I do apologize, but we are going to just do it as the 15. Okay? Because, no, wait. No, that's right. Why is this weird? Do I have my paper flipped? Hold on. My brain just fried. Nope, I'm right. I don't know what I did. Oh, Lord be. You know what? It's Sunday. Anyway. Go ahead, laugh. Go ahead, laugh. Go ahead. Been there, done that, wrong side thing. I think everybody has done the wrong side thing. We all have. Heck, you've seen me all do it live. So, you know, that kind of thing. I'm very frustrated that this is not right now. So, I apologize for my frustration. Are you printing through VPN? Oh, Billy's answering questions. Thanks, Billy. All right, like I said, for the sake of this tutorial, we're only doing it so that you can press on the 15 and how you do it in a piecing. This is not going to fit. There's my disclaimer, as I don't have the opportunity to sit and redo it right at the moment. So I do apologize for the lack of. I am going to do this just to tape it down in the centers, right on my seams. Again, because it's not right. Okay. Lord, I quit today. Can I have a do-over? It started this morning with people asking me questions, and I hadn't even had coffee, which also reminds me too. When you're dealing with your clients, no matter who they are, you need to set boundaries. And you need to have boundaries for your business. And I'm equally as guilty for it. You want to set boundaries. What are those boundaries? Well, the boundaries are this. Pick a day that you have a day off where you don't answer anybody. Or you could say, you know what, we'll revisit this tomorrow when I'm back in the office. Because we should not have to work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We need breaks. We need time to breathe and have our families and whatnot. And unfortunately, to the wonderful people at Amazon, they've messed that up for all of us. Because they believe that we should be in the know-how all the time. Okay? So set boundaries for yourself. All right? That's all I can say is just set boundaries. Because I will get messages literally up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, a good way to get my attention, to make me giggle, is to say, and this is what I've taught my own clients here for my physical stuff, is I'm brain dumping. Okay? What does brain dumping mean? I'm messaging you. I'm not expecting you to answer me back. I'm brain dumping just so that I don't forget. Okay? So that you also know that I'm not going to answer you. All right? So, with that said, oh crap. With that said, that's why I brain dump, you know, and I don't expect that from any of the people I buy stuff from. I mean, you have to take time and you have to take a break. And a lot of people are getting very upset, and I can give you examples, but I really won't right now. And one of the, you get very upset when things don't go out fast enough. Things aren't shipped fast enough. You just ordered something 5 minutes ago and you expect it to be in the mail and at your doorstep. That doesn't happen, okay? I can order something from Amazon today, it won't get here till Tuesday. And that's even with Amazon Prime. So know that, okay? Things take time. We're small businesses. And with small businesses, you know, it's kind of one of those things that you have to, hold on. Hi there. It's kind of one of those things you have to set boundaries. I get messages, like I said, all the time. I was up this morning and I already had 14 messages sitting there, people wanting me to tweak designs, do designs, and while I'm completely blessed, I needed coffee. I needed coffee. So, I need you guys to all just be patient. Use your patience. You expect that from your clients. We expect it on our end as well. So just be patient. You can't expect everybody to just jump on a hat. Again, Amazon ruined that for all of us. Because we don't ship large, fast, all the time, 24 hours a day. It just doesn't happen, okay? All right. So, boundaries. Boundaries, people. That's the key word for today is boundaries. All right. So now you're going to ask me, how in the world am I going to press this? All right. That's a great question. I am seriously going to, because it's already ruined. I'm just telling you, always put new paper down. There's my disclaimer. Put your paper down. I probably should have done it this way. But because it's 15 by 15, it really doesn't matter. Okay. This is how. Okay. It's a 15 by 15. So I can go in any direction. I just picked the wrong direction, clearly. All right. Now, literally, I don't know if you guys can see this. Oops, sorry. Literally, there's my paper line. There's my pencil line, right? And I want this to just barely fit under that, okay? So, all right. I'm showing it to you on this side just because I've already pressed this, but it's just so because of where the camera is, okay? So don't freak out. All right, so that's how you want to do it. I'm going to do it over here, though. So don't freak out. All right, that was just to show you on camera. All right. So no freaking. No freaking. I know you guys are all freaking out right now. Oh my God, she's doing it on the wrong side. You've already pressed that. I know I've already pressed it. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is slide it. Slide it this way. There's that wood. I think Amy uses a piece of wood that she puts on here. I'm going to be revamping my shop so that I could use that wood on there. So that makes it a little bit easier. The pencil line is so that you know where your press line is. Okay. So here's why you do the pencil line, because you want to know where to line up your press. Okay. So I do this pencil line because I can't always guarantee that this is going to leave a crease. Your press will leave a crease in this particular thing. Okay. So I draw a pencil line so I know where to literally set the edge of my press so that when you're piecing it together, you're not over pressing. You're not over pressing the same line, because what happens is, and I did it here because I had my press literally just 2 little hairs over it. Look what happened. It created a overlap mark. This is why you can't press on another press. Does that make sense? All right. All right. So yes, while this is discolored and yes, it may have some sort of a crease, this pencil line is a definite guide so that I don't screw this up. Okay. So we're going to do the last little bit of pressing on here. You line it all the way up. Get it in there. And down. Okay? You want it to have the least amount on that line, but the line is literally just a guide so that you can do it. Now, if I had the right size damn image, gosh darn it, I cannot believe I still did that. But, oh, wow, that was bad. Okay, hopefully this one turned out better. This whole project turned into a happy hot mess. And I don't know if I want to show you what I did. Probably not. I probably don't want to show you. We'll see how I did on the second one. Lord God. That's right. Any questions while I'm standing here? Thank you. I feel pretty spiffy today. Yes. Yeah, I mean, for the bigger, I have a 16 by 20. I'd be doing this in 2 pressings anyway. So, you know, there's that. Like I said, you normally change out your paper. You would have to do this, you know, do all the steps that you know you're supposed to do. Just because, I'm going to see if I screw this up rightly. Oh! All right. This whole project turned up, and I'll show you why you needed to do it, because I knew. All right. Here's why You really need to pay attention to what you're doing. Let's talk about this, shall we? Because here's the most real moment you're ever going to get. And you know what? That's what we're all about here. Real, screw it up, show you how to fix it. All right. We like happy hot messes. We've all... Oh, I am so human. You ready? All right. Because I was talking and not paying attention to what I was doing, this turned out to be a happy hot mess. Here's my happy hot mess. Otherwise, it pressed great. So I'm going to show you pieces. One, I did not get the correct size, but overall, let's talk about this. This pressed beautifully. It presses absolutely gorgeous. Okay, the color is absolutely amazing. Well, I kind of messed up, and because I got talking to y'all, do we see a problem? Yeah, see, I had it right lined up down here, and I'll show you. When you have it lined up correctly, and you're not talking to, you know, almost 200 of your closest friends, I'll show you. When you're not talking to 200 of your closest friends, this is why you draw the line. This is where I was down at the bottom where I could see it. I wasn't paying attention to the back end, so I was paying attention just to the front end. When you pay attention, look what happens. Okay, that's why I do the pencil line right there. Okay, so that was, you know, that's why you're not supposed to be talking to people when you're doing this. And a board would be key, you know, key. So now you want to see the other end. Where's the other end? Okay, so again, because I got talking to y'all, not too terribly bad. Right? Until I get down to the bottom, because I totally was talking again. But when you're not talking and you're actually paying attention to what you do, it lines up pretty darn perfect. Okay? And that's why you put the line. All right? Right? The top does look perfect. I mean, spot on. Whoop, whoop. I'm going to need this cooling towel. I'm sweating like, I can't even tell you. It's not even polite or for public knowledge. Oh, I'm going to use it right now. You know what? It makes a cute little towel. It's just... Whatever. Whatever. You know what? Welcome to the Sass, people. You know, if I don't screw something up at least once or twice, or in this case 3 times on the Sass, then I'm not doing my job. Okay. So it's a cooling towel. All right. And it literally, it's a moisture wicking. So what it does is it takes the sweat that you have on your neck, because right now, holy good God, I'm wearing a sweater near a heat press that's at 385. Whoo, nearly. Okay, so this is what this is used for. It's, you know, you can even, I wonder if I can even put it, I could probably even do it as like, you know, when you're folding your hair, but my hair's all pretty today, so I'm not even going to try. But me personally, I probably would never do a full bleed on these, because the full bleed, this is a 12, you want to go, this is like 12.5 inches or so. And you really want to do at least 13.5, so you have a nice size bleed. So my paper's 13. So I'm going to go 13, but 19 inches, which gives you 38 inches, because these are 36 inches long. So I'm going to do 2 piecings. But you always want to make sure you give yourself enough allowance with fabric, because nothing in fabric is cut ever perfectly straight or square. Okay, they try their darndest, but square is just not a thing in the world of fabric. It tries to be, but because fabric has against the grain, with the grain kind of mentality, that's why it's, you know, this is what this is. So otherwise, I gotta tell you, I mean, that pattern's just pretty. This would make a, you know, really, it's so pretty. It is pretty. So there's that. I also want to talk about, I'll take a quick gander, but let me just see how we're doing. Let's see. What is the board? Okay, so the board is like a really thin piece of Luan. It's over, for me, in Home Depot, they have a bunch of boards that are like 2 by 4 feet, and they stand them up like this in little like channels. It's over there. You want a really thin piece, like 1/8 of an inch. You don't want anything too big, because it's just adding more depth to your press. And what it is you cut it, literally, you can cut it either just the width of your press, or you can cut it, you can leave it at the 2 feet. I think 2 feet would be just too much. It would stick out. If you leave it 2 feet, you're going to be sticking out to here to try to do your project. And if you're a short little person, that's not going to work. So you really want to just do it so that it's here. What it does is the board allows you to have arms and wings so that you can lay that 36 inches down and you can just slide it without it drooping, without it folding. It's great for the doormats, all that kind of stuff. Let me see. Yeah, that would be the reason I would use that. Okay, so far we good? Yeah, it's not, and not pressed wood, exactly. You want to definitely use, it's a really thin board. You don't want to use like plywood or anything like that. So that would be the reason. The towel comes from Coney Island. Coney Island has pretty much our fabric substrates. That's what he carries. He carries more of the fabric line, with the exception of Amy. Amy does have tote bags, and she has wine totes, neoprene stuff. She has the oven mitts and pot holders, which if y'all haven't gotten in on that train, these are amazing, okay? Her totes are made out of these. They're a linen. They're super soft. She's now got the right and the left. I just ordered on my left. It's got this really soft, fuzzy inside. So they're nice, gorgeous quality. I mean, you definitely get your bang for your buck on these. I think she sells the set for the right and the left of these. I think it's like $7, which is peanuts, especially when you can sell them. Most places, and I can tell you even the big box stores, don't sell the left-handed mitt. That's a rare thing. And Hellbound, let me tell you, Hellbound hasn't made. I had said to Amy, I go, can we get left-handed? She thought it was kind of crazy at first. I would love when she gives me that look. And she did. So Hellbound is the only one that sells the left-handed mitt right now. And you know what? That's what makes her the leader in this market, because those are just top notch. I wouldn't get my pot holders or my oven mitts from anywhere else because of the quality. Okay, I'm a quality snob, and I am not afraid to tell you that. I'll tell you that also about all my baby products. And as you've seen on Amy's live, I got to meet the people who make our baby products, and they're absolutely top notch. So, like I said, total quality snob, and I will come right out and tell you if I don't like something. That's what makes me honest, I guess. Let's get that so it's not so bright on my face. Holy Moses. Sorry, guys. Now it's going to go dark. Sorry. I didn't realize I was all in your face. There we go. So, so that's where I would get those neoprene car koozies. And how do you press them? The koozies I did, and Kim, that's a conversation for you and I to have on a rainy day, which it's rainy here in New York, but not today. They take a lot of practice. The best thing I can say for any of the car koozies is if you can, are you talking about the coasters? Or well, the koozies, you have that dreaded seam. You really want to have the unsewn ones if you can possibly do it, and really sewing them is beyond easy if you sew. If you don't, there's a lot to it. You got to tape it down. I struggled with it, showing you guys it live. I do them. I can do them, but I know, again, I can get a perfect bleed and get a perfect image when I'm not standing here trying to teach y'all how to do it. So that's the nature of the beast on this. So there we go. Amy had introduced a while back her Tree of Life wall hanging. She had mentioned that she had gotten it, she had made these all for us, for the admin moderator team. Okay, so she made these for us for Christmas. And she had carved our names out of it. Well, for this one, I'm leaving as is. And the reason I wanted to leave it as is because I wanted a really beautiful natural look. But I knew in the back of my head, I needed to press one so that it looked like it came alive. So I painstakingly sat down and created this. I've literally cut every leaf and whatnot. I left this so you could put the name, image around. I have the 4 seasons in my shop. This way the tree can change. So one side is fall, one side is summer. I did go back through and I would tweak this, just make sure that when you're doing this right here, you want it deep and rich in color like I did this one. Okay, so it pops and you can see it better. I have some that are light colored, and I'll show it to you as I get a little closer to the camera. Give me 1 second. So while this is a great design, right in through here, I'm glad I put the outline because I would have totally missed that part of the A. So I'm glad I put the outline in it. But that's what it looks like close up. All right. And that's the back. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And this literally just lays right on there. When you go, if you buy the temp or you buy the designs, you literally want to make sure that you sit here, and I start with down here, making sure that this all lines up perfect. All right. There is a little bit of a bleed on the circle part. So I literally have to look at the tree and the leaves to make sure that they're, because it's really close. So just so you know. All right. Thank you. I love it too. So when you're ordering these from Amy, her template comes in an all black image. You get to do whatever you want to it. I took the time to create this image and this image so that you could have color on yours, unless you like the natural wood, by all means. You definitely can sub a name on hers. Here, I'll show them to you. So here's the one that she sells. And this is how it comes. There is a protective film on both sides. Make sure you get it all off, especially on these leaves. You want to make sure that it's all off. But you can put a name right in here and leave it totally natural wood. It's still a gorgeous piece, or even just do it all brown or all one color of their house, whatever the case may be. You can even sub it black if you wanted to. But like I said, for me, I wanted to prove that I could do color and that I can make those leaves pop. So that's why I did that. So those are really cool things to have. Let's see, what else? Give me 1 second. Koozies and I don't get along. They never pop back up. So I don't sell a lot of koozies, but if it's something you're going to sell a lot of, do screen print. People ask me about screen print all the time. And I mean, I gang sheet. This was my screen print, believe it or not. It says Annie. It was for a school play. So this is how it comes when you do screen print transfers. This is one color. And you literally just take it, lay it down, press it for 10 seconds at 350, and boom, you're done. And I keep all of those. These help when I don't want to do vinyl, and these help for when I can't do a sublimation. So like, you know, these are key. These are key. All right, these help me. I have a filing cabinet system inside my box, and they're filed by school or they're filed by design. I put them in plastic bags so that they stay nice and neat. I was just finishing up working on those, so that's also a good idea too, is to get into the screen print transfer part of your world, especially if you're going to have to layer 47 different colors. They have different options for that, like I showed at the 613. You do the Atlanta one. So look around. Don't just think there's an end-all be-all and it has to always be sublimation. That would be the and more part of our group. Okay. See, and I don't do light pressure on koozies, which is because then that way I can get around the corners, which I guess that everybody's different. Where do you order your transfers from? Me personally, I order my transfers from Howard, and I've ordered ones from 613. I know Stod. Oh boy. Good morning, Todd. I know Todd gets his from 613. So there's different options. Like I said, I got to meet the guys from 613, amazing group of guys and girls. So I got to meet them. They have a lot of different products, so look them up. But I like Howard and I like 613. So those are the ones that I picked. I don't like F&M. I'm not afraid to tell you that. But at least with Howard, I could tell you great customer service. When I did have one issue, they not only replaced my transfers, but they also replaced the shirts that they came on. So that to me was huge. That sold it for me. If I need something quick, you know, I mean, there's a quick turnaround time for Howard too, but 613 is right in Jersey. So really they're kind of in my backyard. So, but really cool people to talk to. So those are my two shout outs, I guess, to call it something. Yeah, 613 originals. You can use Transfer Express. I just feel like they're a little bit more expensive. I don't know. That's just me. Let's see. All right. Anything else? I don't even know what time it is.
11:11.
Oh, it's 11:11. All right. So I think I talked about all the stuff that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else you want me to talk about? Like I said, at the top, you want to line this up as best as you possibly can. Hold on. I don't know what I did. So you want to line this up as best you can. That's why you draw the line on your paper, so that your press literally touches on the line. Have a good day at work, Sarah. So everybody say have a good day at work, Sarah. She's like, I gotta go drive in the rain. Howard's company is Howard CT.com. Thank you, Todd. All right. So we talked about why I do the pencil line and when you're doing pressing and whatnot. We also talked about the right and the wrong side of the paper. We also talked about setting boundaries when it comes to dealing with people and dealing with your own clients, and also you being the client, okay? And I'm going to give you an example, and only because he's in this room or in our chat right now, and that's Todd. So Todd's doing an order for me. I messaged him, and it was after hours, whatever after hours is for him, messaged him just saying, hey, when you get it in the morning, it's there. He's like, okay. And that was it. So then the next morning is when we have the conversation about what I need. But that's what I call brain dumping. Just know if you start a sentence with me, I'm brain dumping, I'm going to ignore you, okay? Not being rude, especially if it's after 5 o'clock at night. Please know that after 5 o'clock at night, that's my family time. I'm trying to get stuff done. It's not me being rude by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're telling me you're brain dumping, it means you're just leaving me a message to let me know, and you're not expecting me to get back to you until it's regular business hours for me. With that said, don't be asking me in 5 minutes, did you get my design done yet? Did you get my order out yet? Did you do this? No, I didn't. That was probably the hardest thing I had to learn, and that was to set the boundaries of learning to say no, or just looking at the message. They're like, well, I know you saw the message. I get that. But I too have a life, and so do you. And you wouldn't want that from your client. And that's how I feel as well. Okay. Obviously, if it's a sub and more question, I'm going to answer you. Okay. That's just what I do. But don't get upset if I can't do it right away, because I too have a business to run and a life to run, just like everybody else. Okay. So that is your goal, is to set boundaries. Set boundaries that you can't expect people after certain hours to, answer you back. And you can't expect an order to go out. Once you placed it at noon, you cannot expect it to go out by 3. Just is unrealistic in our particular world. We're customs. Keep that in mind, people. We are a custom group of people. Custom takes time. Time is money, okay? Todd preaches that all the time. If you're able to get it out right away, you're now setting a standard for yourself that you can get it out right away. And so on their next order, they're just going to expect that from you. All right. So set yourself up now. Give yourself the time to breathe so that you can do a proper job at what you do. Yes, there are going to be some rush orders, but rush orders come with a fee. I know we're all hate to do that. I'm guilty of that 100%. You want a rush order, be prepared to pay a fee for it. Whether it be a rush order fee plus the rush order shipping, be prepared. Okay, so those are just things. Try to set boundaries for yourself, for your clients, and those you also deal with as being the client and as being the person that's doing the work. Did we get sass of the day? Our sass of the day. I've given lots of sasses of the day. That was great for customer service. He is. He absolutely is. But I don't expect Todd to answer me. If I'm messaging that man at 8 o'clock at night, I am not fully expecting him to answer me. I am just telling him, hey, I just placed an order, just so you know. It's in there. Just so you know, I'm brain dumping. And he just says, okay. He knows. He just knows I don't expect him to answer me. Why? Because he has a life and he needs to do what he needs to do. Yes, he runs a business, but he has hours too. So, he's great at that. And that's all I'm saying is I'm not knocking it by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, he has a life too. I call it Amazon syndrome. Everybody accepts everything within 2 days. Absolutely. They absolutely do. I blame Amazon for our impatientness of, is that even a word? Yeah. As a consumer. okay, as a client, whatever you want to call yourself, we blame Amazon for that. That we need to have it now, instant gratification. You know, just like when people message me on my personal page, you expect instant gratification and you expect me to answer you right away. A lot of times when I'm messaging something, I do it in pieces because I'm horrible at typing. My brain runs faster than my fingers, or my fingers run faster than my brain. So I misspell a ton of words. So sometimes I'm sending what seems like a lifetime of messages because I'm trying to proofread and send it properly and not look like an idiot. But I'm not expecting that person to answer me right away, okay? You have every opportunity to say to me, hey, can we talk about this tomorrow morning? Absolutely. And then I'll just walk away from the conversation. Same goes for me too. If I say, can we revisit this tomorrow? It means I need to sleep at some point or have coffee, whichever. Off the topic. You are the felt expert. I use my felt. I do it at the 385. You're going to find out that I do a lot of things at 385, 65. That's what I press it at. Make sure you put your paper on it. You know, on it, below it, above it, around it, whatever. That's what I do it. Felt is a great thing for practicing on. Poly fabric that you can get from the Joann's or Michael's. No, Michael's doesn't sell fabric, but Joann's does. Hobby Lobby. You know, that kind of fabric. Great for practicing so you don't ruin your substrates. That's another good thing. Another good thing to practice with, sounds pretty archaic, but buy one of Stan's big towels. They're like $7. Here's why. Because you can practice, because it's so big, you can practice piecing on that, and it's the same texture and feel of his towels, of the burp cloths, of the bibs. So it's all the same quality, but that's a great test. That's a great thing to put your color palette on for people. So, you know, you can put whatever you want on there. If people want to see what our logo looks on, that's a great test piece. So that becomes your test towel that you can bring wherever you want to bring it. But at least this way you can test on it, and it's a large item. So just some out-of-the-box food for thought. Yes. Faux leather. Can you practice on faux leather? I'm trying to think, did I do faux leather? I feel as if I did, but I have a feeling, I can't remember if it melted or not. I'll revisit that another day. Yes, so Todd is fatdad.com or fatdadcd.com. He does everything from large canvas to banners to decals to anything of that nature. That's what he does. So, so there you go. That's what Todd does. And we watched Todd's ongoing saga of him opening up this 8,000 square foot place that he's got going on. And you could see that it's a process. He has a process. So don't forget to go to Tuesdays with Todd, because it is a process of what he's doing. And all of a sudden you have a budget in mind, and now all of a sudden that budget for what you thought you were going to spend to rehab a place is now totally out of the bucket, or you have different loopholes that you have to jump through, insurance, all of that stuff. So that becomes another headache. So he's literally showing you the process and the problems that goes when you literally have a space in the magnitude of his size and what he's trying to accomplish. So you get to watch that journey with him and see, well, here we are again. I still haven't got the batting cages in because we're jumping through hula hoops again. And that's called real. Okay. He's real and honest in that sense. So I think that's a cool thing. Dan Place will be open on Saturday. Another month of bills. I don't doubt it. And that's the thing. I mean, when you have a place, you're still paying bills while you're rehabbing. Okay. Electric, rent, whatever, all the other expenses, your overhead is, you're still paying for that stuff regardless if you're open or not. So you need to bring the money in. Just a quick thing too. These were the things that I got at Five Below. Yes, I did put it in my press. As I said, I put it in this way. I put this against the bottom of my press, and I just shoved this guy right in here, and I timed it. So these are great timeout stools. They come in gray and pink. I got those at Five Below. Another Five Below item. Again, because I don't do the mugs from the dollar store or any of that stuff, because I'm afraid they're going to crack when I put them in the microwave because of the pressure that you have to put them under. They're not made for sub. So that's my only thing, is why I won't use those mugs, is I'm afraid that once you put the once you put the pressure and then you put them in the microwave, I'm afraid they're going to break. So it's not cost effective either. You buy 36 of them, it's $2, and it's $72, and I can buy a 36 case for a heck of a lot cheaper. These were $3. I don't know what kind of material they are, just because, I mean, it did take the ink. I have not washed it, nor would I ever wash it, just because it's an Easter egg hunting bag. You do not put these strings in the heat press. They will melt. So I literally just put this under. This would be great for vinyl though. Cute little bag idea. I love the ears. I think I just love the ears. So that's a cute bag idea. If you got a Five Below near you, that would be a good. We talked about piecing, and you know, when I'm not doing things live and it does come out correct, pieced. So this was not only pieced, but it was pressed in 2 pressings. So, and this is not such a forgiving design. So that came out really good. And the reason I put the pencil mark on my recap here is because if you overlap it ever so slightly, you get that line. So the pencil mark is where you line it up so you don't end up with that line. Again, it's forgiving here, but it's not forgiving on the color parts because that's where you see it. So you could see right here, actually, if I show it to you, this is where I lined it up perfectly. So obviously don't do this while you're talking. So there's that in a nutshell. Coming up, oh, and I pressed Catastrophe, this bad boy. We'll talk about that on a whole other rainy day when I can show it to you when it's correct. We talked about Amy's Tree of Life and what you can get from there. All right, so next week on the Sass, I am literally doing an entire baby Sass. Stan has just about conquered every avenue in what you can offer for baby. Here's the thing. It's a market that's never going to go away. It's a market that's never going to die. So it's not like there's a trend that you're going to, you know, all of a sudden not have enough, or you're going to have too much of baby bibs and burp cloths, because it's always going to happen. It's always going to be there. Your designs is what's going to change, not necessarily the items. So I am literally going to do a complete baby set. I'm literally going to change the set here, so you guys can see. I'm going to have them already done, some of them. We're going to talk about how you can package them and so much more. It's a complete baby Sass on April 7th. It's getting us lined up and ready for Mother's Day. So that is what we're lining up for. The Sass after that will be a Mother's Day Sass. Actually, no, that won't be a Mother's Day Sass. I think that's Easter. I know I will not be going live on Easter. If I do, it'll be very short, but Easter's a holiday, and that's the 21st. So I will not be going live on Easter. So I'm so sad for you guys. Maybe I'll stop in and say hi, but you know what? It's a holiday. So the 2 Sasses will be starting in with Mother's Day. Quick Easter ideas. Easter's kind of hard. So when you're filling up your basket, make sure you fill up your basket with things like stuff for the beach, you can towels, totes, that type of stuff, puzzles, anything you can think of. But we're going to talk about, you know, that a little bit more. Actually, we're not going to talk about it a little bit more. Easter's just is what it is. Decorate buckets, decorate baskets, shirts, that kind of stuff. Put those kind of fun things in an Easter basket. It doesn't always have to be about candy. So keep that in mind. And yes, I start every Sunday at 10 a.m. Mother's Day is good for picture frames and kitchen towels. Yes, picture frames, kitchen towels, pillows, lots of different fun things. Bracelets from Amy. I will have a whole Mother's Day one coming up. That actually will come up after Easter. I'm going to do a whole Mother's Day Sass. I'm going to lead into it, but the first one is the baby Sass, because if it wasn't for baby, I wouldn't be a mom. So we're going to do that, like I said, April 7th. Catch Todd on Tuesdays and his never-ending saga on this 8,000 square foot, and God only knows what hell raising we're going to be doing on Wednesdays. She's always good for a good teach. So if you want to learn something new, or she's got some new product ideas, that's a great idea to head over to Amy's. She's usually live at, I think it's like 7:30 Central Time, so it's like 8:30 here. So her times may vary, but she always posts. She's right around the same time. Todd too. He's trying to be more consistent about being at the same time as well. And that's it in a nutshell. Unless you guys have any questions, I I see you guys all on the Baby Sass on April 7th at 10 a.m. Always on a Sunday. So, nothing more? No? All right. I'll see you guys all soon. I'm off for a 2-hour drive to go to a party. So I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.